seen. GurlTauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun and see what GurlTauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere GurlTauX can be seen. GurlTauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what GurlTauX is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's GurlTauX, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. GurlTauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what GurlTauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere GurlTauX can be seen. GurlTauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what GurlTauX is all about. GurlTauX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. GurlTauX show is here to stay. GurlTauX show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what GurlTauX is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on GurlTauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on GurlTauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on GurlTauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on GurlTauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on GurlTauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
Well, hello. How's everybody doing today? For some reason, it doesn't want me to be on the screen. Uh, it's like, no, you can't go on the screen. So we're just not going to let it happen. I don't know what's happening there. But anyway, we are here. What did you notice? My bad hair day hat. I mean, I'm notorious for wearing a hat because I do love my hats. always have. Gotta get this little mouse off of here so it doesn't make a bunch of racket. Well, now I'm making the racket because I'm playing with him. Well, he usually just like hangs down. This is a little mouse. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little mouse. Used to hang on my dog's collar. And when we went on long road trips, she always had a toy on her collar. And we get to a stop somewhere, and I could take it off her collar and throw it for her for a little while and let her run, and she had a ball with it. So it was a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, I didn't get to change the title of it because for whatever reason the edit wouldn't let me edit it. I still have some issues with this new EV Mux that I'm using. I see Jethro. Did you find? Yeah. Okay. My husband's dog came down here and decided to eat the remainder of the pizza. So thank you for that. Oh well, it is what it is. Can you get out of here now, please? Can you go away? Can you back up? There's nothing left there, so just back up. Go. No, come on. Steven, if you're watching, get your dog. He's being a nuisance. But I guess that's his brand. He is a blue heeler. And let me tell you, having a blue heeler is an amazing thing. But he is a velociraptor with ADHD is the way we refer to him, because he is work. He is definitely work, but I love him to death. He's our sweetheart. And my girl, let me switch my cameras real quick to apparently nothing. Let's see if we can fix this remedy-ish this problem here. Okay, so here I am, but I'm just switching it to the other camera real quick because I'm going to show you my poopy dog, my good girl. She's amazing. She's my service dog, and she is absolutely the sweetest thing on the planet. Love her to death. She's my girlfriend. That's what I call her, my girlfriend. Charlotte, Charlie. They like to take all the blankets and pillows off the couch down here when they're down here. So say hi, Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte. Look at how pretty she is. Isn't she beautiful? She is a beautiful dog. I have to say, love my baby. Love her to death. She is an amazing puppy dog, and I can't help but love her to the moon and back, or whatever they say. So I was getting frustrated with the edit there, and then I thought, well, it doesn't hurt to just leave it, and I'll fix it later. But there they go. Okay. Anyway, well, I should have shut the door at the top of the stairs, then I wouldn't have the problems, but I like having my girlfriend down here. But yeah, since I had that medical emergency, and if you didn't watch yesterday's show, you can watch yesterday's show, and we go fully into detail of what happened last week. I flatlined at the hospital for real. And I guess I was out for under 10 seconds, probably between. Oh, he didn't. He got crazy because she was on the TV. Oh, okay. Interesting. Can you send her down and just shut the door and then? Oh, they're in kennel. Oh, bad. Like, oh, you caught it before they got in a fight. They were going to get in a fight over it? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So he did not like seeing her on the TV. Oh, that's funny. he went into freak out mode, I guess, when she was on the TV. I didn't know that that would cause him to have that. Anyway, so yeah, I totally flatlined at the hospital. Thank God I was at the hospital when it happened. They figured out what was wrong, and it was a vagal episode from a distended and inflamed and major issues with my gallbladder, which is so weird because like I had no pains anywhere in the vicinity of my gallbladder. All my pains were chest pains and left side chest pains. So, and a little bit of back. But anyway, no. So being out for a week when you have something like that happen. Wow, oh wow, oh wow, catching up on the news. The news is absolutely insane. The Tesla car bombings, well, some of that was happening beforehand. The Tesla protests, which I'm going to be a little skeptical on, I mean, I think some of the people are organic, some of the people really are pissed off or whatever. They're misinformed. They're being misinformed by the legacy media. I will not call them mainstream media anymore because those that do their own shows, like Timcast and Joe Rogan and Russell Brand and Louder with Crowder, that's mainstream. Sorry, Candace Owens, Officer Tatum. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I can't name them all, but Squirrel Tribe, these are the places that are now mainstream because it's where mainstream definition means where the main populace goes to get their news, get their media. And so mainstream media is no longer legacy media like NBC, CNN, MSNBC, even Fox. There are diehard followers of those channels, but what happens with the people that are diehard following that stuff is they are getting misinformation. And I think it's on both sides. I don't think it's completely fair on all sides. I think you do get a fairer and truer look from the Timcasts of the world, from the Louder with Crowder and Shrouders and Doubters and whoever outers. But you get a lot more of the looking at all the information and then looking at the facts of it and doing some research and some deductive reasoning. So I've spent, it's taken me until after really about this weekend, like Sunday, to really start feeling better. So, doing my research and reading up on what's happening and watching a bunch of different YouTubers to see what's happening. And, I don't consider like Timcast and Russell Brand and Louder with Crowder being just YouTubers. They're not just creators anymore. They are our news. They are our journalists that are giving us the information, and they do break things down. And I'm listening to different parts of it, like the deportations. I have my misgivings about some of the deportations. Should they all just go straight to the El Salvador max prison? I don't think so. I think that if you didn't commit an official new crime here, that is especially a violent crime, but if your main thing is that they have some kind of proof or evidence that you're part of a gang and you are here illegally, just send them back where they came from. That's my take on it, is just send them back where they came from, or at least they should get some kind of trial there, because maybe they are out of the gang, maybe they are no longer an active member of the gang. Now, my devil's advocate in me says from when I was in law enforcement, um, I was a police officer. Uh, it's very difficult to buy into that because most of the time, the type of gangs we're talking about, it's a blood in, blood out type of thing. So you don't get to leave. You don't get to go and just, put your 2 weeks notice in and move on to your next, endeavor. And you don't get the going away party and the cake and, good luck on your new adventure. That's not how it works really with the gangs. The gangs, it's pretty much you're an all in until you die or, you know, there's ways of getting out, I guess, protective custody, um, turning over state's evidence, being, going into witness protection, something like that maybe, but I do find it very difficult, to say that they can actually be out of the gang. And just because somebody has a wife and kids does not mean he's not a gang member. There's a lot of gang members that the wife is also part of the gang. So that being said, I don't want just straight up mistreatment of people just because they're gang affiliated. But at the same time, like one of the things that I was listening to and I heard about that just happened, a few days ago, or I'm not sure actually when it happened, but one of these so-called people, uh, apparently stabbed a veteran like 27 times and, killed him. And the veteran was, uh, actually helping him with his paperwork to for national or for legalizing his status. And he wasn't doing it fast enough, wasn't getting it done quick enough, supposedly. And he got irritated. Maybe there was things that he didn't have. And so he supposedly stabbed him like 27 times. When that happens, I think it kind of reinforces the I think it should reinforce the the fact that we need to get rid of these people. Um so um I think we need to take a lot of this as a grain of salt and we need to look into how this is getting handled. And my other big concern watching what's been happening is these judges um that are taking it amongst themselves and thinking that they have a higher position than the president of the United States. They don't have a higher authority. And if this doesn't get shut down, what this is going to set is it's going to set a precedence that we are a dictatorship and that we're ruled by the judge, whatever judge wants to make a decision. He just arbitrarily says, "You send them back, bring them back." He doesn't have the authority to do that, yet he did it anyway. So it is very concerning that that we have something like that happening. Um, and that really, really does bother me. It should not be that way. A judge should not be the person that is making the decisions, and he should not be making arbitrary decisions at all. He really shouldn't have anything to say about it. Um, and if we continue with this precedent, and it's only happened to um, for the most part, it's only happened to Trump. So is that showing their bias? And they're supposed to be balanced. They're supposed to be balanced. They're supposed to analyze and interpret the law and oversee that the law is being adhered to, not write the laws, supersede the laws, and flat out disobey the laws and call it their rule. That's not how it's supposed to work. So that's pretty frustrating. So we need to think about how that's being handled, how that's being done. And then we have the protesters. I'm all for and I'm fine with protesters. You want to protest Elon Musk, you want to protest Tesla, you want to protest whatever it is you want to protest, go right ahead. You have every right to protest. You have every right to voice your feelings, voice your opinions about it. I wish they would be more accurate and factual, but you still have the right to stand up and say, hold up your little fake sign saying that Elon needs to get deported. And that's what I love about this. Their hypocrisy is so blatant. It's not even funny. Let me have a drink of my coffee here. I do have to say I did contemplate wearing a different hat. I have this other hat here that says, but first, coffee. And then I changed it to this one because it has too much pink in it and my shirt is peach, even though I don't know if it comes off as peach on the channel or if it comes off as orange because it kind of looks orange on my screen. But anyway, we have people that are protesting and in many cases are protesting. Really what they're protesting is Doge. They're not protesting Tesla because Tesla has done them no harm. So I don't understand why they're protesting Tesla. Go down to your Capitol and protest Doge. If Doge is your problem and your issue is because Elon is part of Doge, why are you trying to hurt the people who work for a car company? And you're not hurting Elon, you're hurting the people who have the stocks. And yeah, okay, that hurts him slightly, but it's hurting, like Tim Walz, Tampon Tim, goes on stage and says, I got this app that tells me how bad Tesla stock's doing. Unbeknownst to him, his state, anybody who works for the state, their IRA or 401k or whatever it is, but they own Tesla stocks. So you're saying that to hurt your own constituents and your own people. That's ridiculous. So if they want to protest, I'm all for protesting. Stand up for your rights, stand up. We've had our own protests, we've had our own rallies. But again, January 6th, let's go into that for a second. You go into January 6th and they couldn't let that go to save their lives. They went on and on and on and on and on and on about January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. There was a few small incidences during January 6th, but you know what there wasn't any of? There was no gunfire, not on our side. There was one person shot, and she was on our side that was shot by the law enforcement. And nobody brought guns to the event. And there was no firebombing. Nothing was burned down. But prior to that, you had BLM and these other rioters all over the nation that were protesting. And they weren't just protesting like BLM for George Floyd. There was also a huge amount of protests at like the universities because Milo Yiannopoulos was speaking and they didn't want to hear from him. And Ben Shapiro, I mean, that was a big part of they tried to burn down Berkeley University because conservatives were speaking that they didn't want to hear from. but you don't hear anything about that stuff. And nobody really, for the most part, got in trouble. And then as soon as they talk about this is terrorism, what's happening, not the protesting, but the firebombing, the throwing whatever devices that they're using to cause the fires. Some I heard were like the Molotov cocktails and stuff like that. But whatever they're using, one guy burned himself up trying to start a fire. But whatever it is they're doing, they are hurting the people that work there and the people who own the cars ultimately. And that's not getting any point across other than you're full of lunacy. But as soon as there was talk about that being terrorist, they immediately go to January 6th. January 6th. Well, we didn't firebomb shit. So yes, there is a difference. And BLM, that stuff should have been deemed the same thing. Now, Antifa was determined to be a terrorist organization, but yet they still get involved in every bloody thing out there. And then you go look at the protests, and I want to know how much of it really is truly organic, because you have people that are showing up there. And if anybody has a link to any of these where you can sign up to go do it, I'll go to one of these protests. I'll go see what's happening. But if there's anyone out there that knows how I can sign up to go be a paid protester, I'll go do it to see what's really going on. Not because I want to be a part of the dissidents or whatever. But I would go just to go see what's happening. And I'm trying to find where my show is right now. But anyway, we have so many people out there supposedly showing up to this stuff, and it's all organic. Or is it? I'm kind of curious as to whether or not it's actually organic. I swear I'm going to have to change my time. Timcast, you're on so much that nobody else can have a time where anybody wants to watch us, because you're on like 5 hours a day. Maybe chill it out a little bit so that some other people can have channels. I'm just saying, hey, you don't have to be on 24/7. And I don't know why, but I can't even find my own damn show on here. I have to look it up, and it's still not even showing it. So it's so freaking frustrating. I'm not going to lie to you. It's so freaking frustrating. There we go. Now I got it. Okay. So, but my whole point of this, I'm going to make sure the volume's off this time in case I have a call or anything. But the issue that we have is you have these people out there burning things down and breaking stuff and assaulting people. The woman that was punched right through her window, now granted, I'm not going to, I don't want to be rude or mean or anything, but you have a gas pedal. I'd have drove off and he would have never gotten that swing through my window. As soon as he walked up to the car, I'd have been gone. And I'm sorry, I'd have backed up. I'd have gone, you can swerve left, right, whatever. Just because somebody parked in front of you, you can get around them. I'd have gone up on the curb, whatever I had to do to get away from this person. That was assault, and I hope he's charged with assault. I hope all these people end up getting charged with crimes, and if they are deemed terrorism, then they're going to get 20 plus years. So we have to uphold the rights of people to protest. So when Elon, and I'm going to give my assessment of what I saw and what I heard with Elon saying that the people who are organizing these protests or these attacks, and he did say the word attacks, should be the ones held accountable. I think the media who makes it sound like it's just innocent protesting, they should be held accountable as well. The people like what's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right this second. Anyway, loudmouth that said, for my birthday, I want, you to take down Elon, take down Tesla, or take down Elon. That's what I want for my birthday. She should be held accountable. She's in a powerful leadership position. She should be held accountable. Anyone that's in a power position should be held accountable. Pelosi, any of these people should be held accountable. Maxine Waters, just because they're senators and Congress people, they should not be above the law and not held accountable for their actions. And if their actions or their words cause actions, then they should be held accountable. And when Elon says that you should go after the organizers, the people funding it, I agree with him there. I agree with them because they are funding terrorism. And that is technically a crime. And they should be charged with it, and they should be prosecuted, and maybe then it would slow down. But I don't think you can go after people for organizing protests. I think that's a different animal, and you have to let people protest, because if you did that, you're going to set a precedence. And if it's upheld, you're going to set a precedence that we also would not be able to have protests anymore. So you have to keep those peaceful. And from what I watched several different ones, they're annoying, they're obnoxious. Any of the people that went there to ask questions, Liberty, banging drums and noisemakers and stuff and following them around and being obnoxious. Well, they're there. I think there's quite a few of them that are paid. And it is quite ironic that, they show up at like 8:00 and at exactly 12:00, gone. Like I've never been to a protest or a thing that didn't last like a continuous time frame, and just people came and went throughout the time. Whereas these people, they've learned, I think, one of the things that they have learned is they have learned not to bus them in, because they were doing that in the past, especially the BLM protests and some of the other protests and the ones at Berkeley. They were busing people in. And we knew that there was a lot of paid protesters. So they have learned from that not to bus them in. So they're probably giving them a stipend for driving or carpooling together in their Teslas, maybe. I doubt that. Okay, they're probably not in. Okay, so Donna says she hears no sound. I don't know. Steve, are you watching? Is there sound anywhere? I'm going to be really irritated. I'll probably end the broadcast if there's no sound and just start over. I have sound. I have my board shows the mic's working. I show sound. Let me just stop for 1 second and turn my volume up on my phone. Let me see if I hear sound on mine. Is there sound anywhere? Okay, I'm hearing sound on Rumble. Let me see on YouTube. I don't know if there's sound on YouTube or not. Let's see. Sound on YouTube or not? Okay, nope. There's sound on. Okay, so it's just you. Sound on YouTube or not? Okay, so it was just you. Sorry. I don't know why you didn't have sound, but I'm glad you fixed it. So I turned my sound back off so I could at least see. Thank you for being able to text so I could see that going on. Anyway, so I think that we should be allowed to protest. I think that we should go after people that are organizing attacks, such as the bombings, and some of them are not. I'm sure some of them are just not paid. They're just lunatics. They're just lunatics, and they are. Some are probably organized attacks, but some are just absolutely. We have an influx of mental crisis right now. We have so many people, and I think this is the results of many years. And from what I understand, it even started with Ronald Reagan of shutting down mental institutions, and it wasn't fully then. And then Obama, and over the years, we've gotten rid of that, and we've put such a stigma on mental illness. And at the same time, trying to say, if you're having a mental problem, it's okay, and you're not alone, and you can talk to anyone, and we're here to help. No, that's bullshit. You get stigmatized. You get people that will talk and look at you differently if you admit you have anything wrong with you. Um, and they don't really, honestly, truly help. So you cannot tell me that we haven't got a crisis of mental illness. And when you took away the facilities and the places where people could go, their family members could take them, and then you have things that you added in like COVID, and you forced on people antisocial skills because they don't have any social skills anymore. And it was forced on people because people were forced to stay in their homes. There's a lot of people that don't even want to leave their houses anymore. And then you have online shopping, so they don't even have to go to the store anymore. And then you have so many added issues that you have a crisis of people that aren't mentally healthy. They're not mentally okay. And then you feed them lines and lines and lines of crap, and you're telling them that Elon is Hitler. You're telling them, and mainstream legacy media is perpetuating this. They're adding to it, and by not saying, "Hey, Elon was saying from the bottom of my heart, thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you." He was not doing this. And if he were, and if that was the situation in the arena when he was doing that, you know what would have happened? As soon as he was done with that, I mean, what happened when Hitler would be in an arena or in a place where that would happen? What was the response? What did they do? What did they say when one of those organizers or people were speaking? Because it wasn't always Hitler. Sometimes it was one of the SS or whatever. But as soon as they were speaking, they literally would he would go and they would respond with Stieg Heil, right behind, and it was constant back and forth. Um, that didn't happen. If that's what was happening, everyone in the crowd would have responded in like. That's because everyone in the crowd took it as, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. Thank you." So we need to take it with what it's actually is. And so there's so many things happening in the news because of all of these different things that are happening, the deportations, the judges putting things back, um all the different things that are happening. Benny Johnson, I'm not going to watch this right now, but I'm going to watch it afterwards because I really do want to see this. But apparently, so we finally had a few people that have left the country because of Donald Trump. And it's absolutely insane what has happened. But apparently, Rosie O'Donnell, she went to Ireland. She did her little announcement that she left and went to Ireland. But apparently, Rosie O'Donnell reveals that she's broke and miserable in Ireland after fleeing the US. Yeah, I could have called that. Unfortunately. And so you got to watch a lot of these different news things that are coming out. Benny Johnson has a lot of great stuff. The other thing I'm going to play, and I'm just going to do, I have to cut it every few seconds, but I am going to play this song because I really love this song. I am going to share it with y'all because I think it is important for us to see these different artists that come out, and I'm going to discuss what I see with it and my take on it. But if you haven't heard it yet, you gotta watch Can't Cancel All of Us by Tom MacDonald. Now, I absolutely love Tom MacDonald. I've been following him since the beginning. So just take a listen and we're going to discuss it as it goes.
They told me, be a man, boy, toughen up. Then they let women become men, they tricked me. They told me, speak your mind if you're brave enough.
Speak your mind if you're brave enough. Well, now that is absolutely a thing, if you're brave enough. Because what it turns out to be is that you can't speak your mind. Because and on the left, if you speak your mind and it's not in accordance with what they see fit, if it's not in accordance with them, then you're kicked out of the club. You're sent somewhere else. Go bye-bye. You're not part of our club anymore. I mean, what the hell has happened there? Let's go on. Let's continue.
And I spoke up and I got canceled quickly. We were always too young and too nice, and now we're too old and too white. You're either too left or too right. Well, we're speaking our minds tonight. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us.
Look who the people are that he has on there. You know, Laura Trump, John Rich, Roseanne. Roseanne got canceled for something that was absolutely freaking bullshit. You know, nobody knew this woman was black until they went into an uproar about this person, and nobody knew she was black because she doesn't really appear black. But Roseanne got canceled, and it was a whole shit show for her. Sharon Osbourne should be on there too because she got canceled for standing up for Pierce Morgan. Pierce Morgan got canceled. I mean, they cancel so many people. I just did this show the other day about cancel and woke culture. You can go into the all my videos and you can watch that one. And you know, I think we're to the point that we're tired of it. And no, you can't cancel all of us. So we're tired of it. So we're going to speak our minds and we're going to speak up. Just like I think comedians should come back and just do your comedy, make fun of whoever you want to make fun of, do whatever you want to do. And we're going to stand by you because you know what? You can't cancel all of us. Absolutely 100%. I believe that to my soul.
The internet ain't real life. They told me, be a man, boy, just like your dad. They told me everything I am is toxic. They said the color of your skin doesn't make you bad, but mine makes me racist. Got it. We were.
So you're toxic if you're a man, but what has happened is we don't have men stepping up. And I'm not going to say we don't have men. We do. In the conservative side or the MAGA movement, because MAGA is a combination of liberals and or Democrats, depending on how you look at yourself, libertarians, moderates, conservatives, Tea Party, Green Party. Everybody has gone into the MAGA movement, and it's a whole new party in my opinion. But the left, and I'm talking about the left nutballs, the people far left that are off their rockers, are all about toxic masculinity and men are women. And you can be a woman, anyone can be a woman. It's fine. You don't have to, you can have a penis and be a woman. It's perfectly fine. But I'm sorry. No, you cannot. And the problem is the very first line in that last little segment. I'm going to back it up real quick and see if I can grab it at the right time here. But let's see if I can find that part. Okay, here we go. Right here. All right. Let's go back to this for a second, because I want you to hear this one part. In my opinion, this one word, this one or two words is the most important part of it.
Too young and too nice.
Too nice. That's when, in my opinion, we got carried away with the letting kids letting kids get trophies for just participating. If you just participated, you got a trophy. And so this stuff started 20 years ago. And I said it back then. I said when we had the and my son will tell you that I did this. He was in Little League, and he came running up to me, and it was his first year not in T-ball. And he came running up to me with this little trophy. I don't know, maybe that big. I don't know how big it was, but he came running up. Look, Mama, we won. And I said, no, you didn't. You guys were the worst team out there. And I took it away from him and I threw it in the trash. I said, this is garbage. This is junk. You didn't win anything. You guys were the worst team out there, as a matter of fact. And you were sitting out there picking daisies in the middle of the field. You weren't paying attention. The balls went right by you. All of you guys, and he could pitch. Man, my son could have probably been a pitcher. He was an amazing pitcher, and he got burnt out of it real quick, because he ended up, when he got into, junior high and high school, he hated all the woke part of it too. And, but I told him how poorly they had done. And then I pointed out the team that had the big giant trophy. And I'm like, that's the winners. That's the team that won. And they won every team out. They beat every team out there and ended up being number one. I said, so if you want that trophy, you have to work for it. You have to earn it. Now he's a United States Marine, husband, father, and amazing young man, along with both his other two brothers. Now, I have to say that I take some credit for that. I do, because I didn't buy into the bullshit and I didn't let it happen in my house. And I did get in trouble. I will tell you that, because what my son ended up doing is he went back to run around to all his teammates, and he came running up with this shirt full of all these trophies. And I was like, what are you doing? He goes, well, they didn't earn them, so I took them away. And he took them all away. And then he walked over and dumped them in the trash can. And I have mothers just coming unglued. Needless to say, I was banned for a little while. But I have stood my ground for years and years and years. When the COVID vaccine came out and we were demanded that we had to get the vaccine, I told my husband, I'll go to jail first. They will have to literally strap me down in a jail cell against my will before I will take the vaccine. So this started 20 plus years ago, and it's our fault. We all have to take accountability for what is happening today is our fault. We allowed this to happen. So let's go back here and continue. I'm gonna go back just a hair.
Either too left or too right, while we're speaking our minds tonight. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life. They told me.
So what I would say to everyone out there, if you feel the same way that you don't want to or you don't think we should be canceled, go and play this video in your background and make your own sign. Put up your own thing that says "Can't cancel all of us." Sing your little lyrics and post it on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever you do your social media. We need to be flooding social media with Tom McDonald's song and at least a segment of it and your little clip, and you can even have him in the background with no sound and just hold up your sign and say you can't cancel all of us. We've got to flood the internet with this song so that people know we can't be canceled.
Be a man, boy, just like your dad. Then told me everything I am is toxic. They said the color of your skin doesn't make you bad, but mine makes me racist. Got it. We were always.
And you have so many white people. I mean, these ridiculous white people that are saying they're embarrassed they're white. They wish they weren't white. It's horrible to be white. I'm sorry, but if we said the same things about any of the opposite races, we would be hunted down with pitchforks and torches. So why is it okay to say the vile, nasty things that get said about white people? You know, I just don't.
Too weak and too afraid, and now we're too male and too straight. You're either too real or too fake, well, we're speaking our minds today. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, we'll burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life. You can take my job.
So I want to say, if you recognize some of the people in the video, he got an awful lot of people to contribute in advance to put this video together so that they can have their voices seen or their faces seen and their voices heard. They're not wearing masks. They're not afraid of being seen. They're not afraid of being canceled anymore because you know what? You can't cancel all of us. We all have a voice. We have the right to speak our minds. And the thing is there used to be a saying, if you see something, say something. And it should go towards the same garbage, not just like if you see somebody with a strange package, say something. How about if you see somebody doing something that is wrong towards another human being, say something. Stand up for your rights and stand up for our Constitution, stand up for our rights to protest, stand up for our rights to disagree. Stand up for our rights to vote for who we want to vote for and be allowed to and not be canceled because of who you're voting for. That is so un-American. I can't even explain how angry and how frustrated I get over that part of it. Don't cancel your family members because you don't like who they voted for. Maybe have a sit-down conversation with them and talk to them and say, why would you vote for this person? What do you see in them? And for myself even, I will say, I am not gonna ever probably break bread with Donald Trump. I'm not gonna be invited to have dinner with him. He's not gonna come to my house. But you know what? I want him to do what's best for my country. That's what's most important.
Job away for something I may have said online, but you can't control a man who won't comply. And you can call me every name that you might think will hurt my pride, but if you think you're stopping me, you're out your mind.
Absolutely. We all have to do the same thing, though. We all have to stand up and say, you can't cancel all of us. I won't comply. It's what I said during the COVID vaccine situation. I won't comply. I'm not going to comply. There's nothing that you can do to make me comply. And many people had to do it because of their jobs. They were forced to. I was in a luxury position. I work for myself, so I didn't have that issue. However, if I had a job working for a company, or my company ended up kind of being ruined over COVID to begin with, so I've had to rebrand and rebuild. But you know, if I had worked for a company where I would have been forced to, I would have quit, or I would have made them fire me. I would not have done it regardless of that reason. So we all have to stand up. You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. And that's an old saying, long time ago, but it's still true today. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for everything. And we have in this country, and we're all culpable, have fallen for all the bullshit.
'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, you will burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side.
Absolutely. You can't cancel all of us. And you have to stand for something or you will stand for nothing. So now the next thing in the news that I find to be interesting, and I am looking forward to seeing how it turns out. So Bill Maher is going to the White House. Bill Maher is going to go have dinner with the president. And he has been probably one of the most outspoken people against President Trump. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but Trump sued Bill Maher one time for $5 million. Actually, it's quite comical. Spoiler alert, the lawsuit was dropped. He filed the lawsuit purely, in my opinion, he filed it purely for humor. He did it just to be funny. But Bill Maher had said it was during the time that Trump had offered money to Obama to produce his real birth certificate, and or to anyone else, I guess, that could prove that his birth certificate was fake. Whatever. That's not what this is about. But anyway, so Bill Maher had came out. He's a comic and he does his night show. And he has his own show now, which I actually do watch and I like. I don't watch it all the time, but I watch it enough and I really like it. But he he put out a thing that said, if Donald Trump can prove that he is not the offspring of an orangutan, because the only thing that has the same hair as him is an orangutan. So he has to prove a birth certificate to prove that his parents are not orangutans. I will pay $5 million to the charity of your choosing or whatever. Well, Trump produced his birth certificate and he gave it to Bill Maher and sent it to him. And then he never donated the money. He never produced the money. He never paid up. So Trump sued him for the $5 million. Now, he did drop the lawsuit. I don't know if Bill Maher ever paid that money towards anything after the fact, but he had a interview on his show with Kid Rock. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that. It's a really good episode, actually. But he interviewed Kid Rock, and Kid Rock said, you should go to the White House. You should meet the president. You should have dinner with him. You'll be shockingly surprised at how likable he actually is and how different he is than what the media portrays him to be. And myself, on that own account, I did not I didn't get a chance, even when I had MAGA One Radio and MAGA Network, to meet the president. But there are so many people that I've met and interviewed and talked to over the years that had met the president, and that I would ask. Like, I had quite a few different events at the Trump golf resort in LA. I would have lunch meetings and stuff there quite a bit when I would go to LA. And I asked our server one time, she was a Hispanic gal and she was really sweet, really cute. And I asked her, has he ever been here? And she said, yeah, actually he has. And usually I don't get to be on the serving team that goes, and he goes up to the second floor, and they have like a area there that's where he would go. She's like, so I don't usually get to go up there and be part of the serving team, but every time he has come, he's left like $100 for every server in the restaurant, regardless of whether you were on the serving team or not. And then she's like, this one time I did get selected and I got to be on the serving team. We knew he was coming and he arrived. And she said, we were headed to go up, but she was one or two people that were behind. And so Trump and his entourage were headed up the stairs, and she said he paused and he told everyone to get out of our way to let us go up. And then he stopped me and shook my hand and said, thank you so much. And I ran up and we did a great job and we got an amazing tip. And she said he was the nicest person in the world. And she goes, I had a job, and that's all it was. I had a job. I didn't really think about it. I didn't ever anticipate meeting him. I didn't anticipate anything. And I had no opinion about him. But I watched stuff on the news, and it was totally not what I learned on my own. And then Tyrus, if you've ever watched Tyrus did an interview with Trump on his show. And, halfway through the interview, or maybe at the beginning of the interview, he apologized to Trump for the things he had said and the way he had felt even about him, having not met him and not known him, and that he was proven wrong. And I think you're finding more and more people are finally feeling comfortable enough. And that goes back to the song we just played, Can't Cancel All of Us. And that he was like, wait a minute. There is a lot of people. Sorry. There is a lot of people who have felt that same way, that that they were misled by the media of what type of person he actually is. And I think there's so many people that are misled by by what they have read, what they have heard, and that they don't have the facts correct. They don't have the information correct. And he is not this bombastic barbarian that they want him to, what they want people to think he is. He's actually a generous, caring, considerate person who really genuinely loves America and genuinely loves people. So, you have to realize that there is so much more to Trump, to MAGA people than meets the eye. We're not horrible people just because we're part of the MAGA community. And when your friends go to, you know, um, cancel you because they don't like who you are, um, all I can say is that when people start turning on each other because you have a difference of opinion or you have a different feeling about something, that is when you have a big problem. So, like, the libs are freaking out because Bill Maher is going to go, or I don't know when Bill Maher is going to be at the White House. Maybe he's already, was today, might have been. Um, but um, the liberals are freaking out about it, acting as if he is turning on his own kind, and they are trying to eat him alive. Um, it's really, really sad that we have um, it's really sad that we have this kind of thing happen
Forgive my generalization, but in the modern
right
world, we
now,
are so
and
busy
it
idolizing.
makes me
Forgive my
disgusted
generalization, but in the modern world,
about our people and how we are not smart enough to realize that the things that we have done and the things we are doing are the reason that we are in the position that we are in. So, a lot of people haven't heard from Oliver Anthony lately, but I'm going to play his speech, and I'll probably stop it a couple of times because it is a little bit longer than I'd like. It's probably going to be the end of our show listening to this, but I'm going to speak little bits as he's doing his speech, but it is an amazing speech. I watched it live when he did it, and I thought it was pretty amazing. So I want you to hear what he has to say.
forgive my generalization, but in the modern world, we are so busy idolizing the genuine nothings of society, the self-centered celebrities, spineless politicians, clickbait social media influencers. It seems from my perspective that oftentimes these people live comfortable little lives while many of our real heroes are dragged through the mud. And while FEMA was hoarding donated generators and denying.
So when he talks about that, he's talking about our veterans. Our veterans are the people who have been have been mistreated so profoundly, and it's really, really sad. So I'm going to play this little part here, and then we're going to get into the rest of his speech. Okay.
Leaders.
Whoop, sorry.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all speech by Oliver Live. I'm sure everybody that big hit 23 reflects on the thousands.
Oh well, I thought he was actually playing that song, but he didn't. Okay, so let me find that real quick because I do want to hear Oliver Anthony's song because it's the whole reason why anyone would be listening to him is um um he got really popular for his song, and I think it is important for us to hear that one as well, and understand that it is what got us to pay attention to him, and he has profound words to say. So let's listen to this for a second. Absolutely. I mean, that song in itself, I'm not gonna play the rest of the song, but I'm gonna leave it with that. If you wanna hear the rest of the song, please go and, watch, that whole song, but it was a kickoff to people speaking out. And he wasn't the kickoff.
Let's get into it.
There was other people who were the kickoff to him speaking out. But the importance of it is that we had enough people that started after him and just slightly before him saying, "Hey, we have to speak up. We have to stand up. We have to stand for something because we are all falling for this nonsensical bullshit and it is destroying our country." And now they're firebombing Teslas because they don't like what Doge is doing. Think about that. It has nothing to do with Tesla is not doing anything to our whatevers. And there were several people that went to some of these rallies and they asked him, "Well, what on the things have you not liked?" Well, none of it. You can't do any of it. Blah, 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 blah. They're taking away Medicare and they're taking away Medicaid and they're taking away veterans benefits. No, there aren't. None of that has happened. And then they're asked, "Well, have you gone to the Doge website to see what they have?" "No, I don't believe anything that's going to be on there." Okay. Okay, so you're misinformed and then you're going to spew hatred and venom.
I appreciate for your opportunity, for your time. I've only got a few minutes here, so I've written some things down so you don't have to listen to me ramble, but there is an evil I have seen under the sun, the sort of error that arises from a ruler. Fools are put in many high positions, while the rich occupy low ones. I have seen slaves on horseback, while princes go on foot like slaves. Since August of 2023, I have received a flood of messages, social media, email, handwritten letters. I've had I don't know how many conversations with people face to face, probably thousands at this point. And I realize now that we don't have any clue to how many around us are really broken, how many are silently suffering and barely hanging on. More often than not, they start the message with, "Hey, I'm a nobody, but," followed by horrors of addiction, mental illness, financial and household struggles, oftentimes incredibly complicated stories that I suspect they may have never told anyone before. But they still have hopes of a hopeful future and they don't want to give up no matter what. And it kills me because these people, they aren't nobodies as they describe themselves. Our modern society's convenient, comfortable, fragile little existence is oftentimes carried on the backs of these self-declared nobodies. And forgive my generalization, but in the modern world, we are so busy idolizing the genuine nothings of society.
Now, remember that what he said, you aren't nobodies. No, I'm a nobody, but. And the shirt that I'm wearing right now says, "You are enough, always." Now, we have a crisis in this country of people who are having such a difficult time. And some of these people are so unhinged and so in such bad despair that they are they're responding with such a violence and such outrage that it is terrifying in this country for so many people. And I will tell you, I'm at the point where if you're driving a Tesla, you better be packing. That's accurate.
The self-centered celebrities, spineless politicians, clickbait social media influencers. It seems from my perspective that oftentimes these people live comfortable little lives while many of our real heroes are dragged through the mud and never once given a genuine thank you for it. But it's not just them that are hurting. We all are. I mean, that's why you're here at this conference, right? That's why people have traveled from all over the world to gather here. you all realize that it's time to do something.
I was trying to pause it. Apparently, it's just K. You don't have to hit function. I wanted to throw in my words there. You know, he said people that are our heroes and they're in the mud and they're treated like garbage, and it breaks my heart. It's one of the reasons why we have a nonprofit for veterans. But just watching my husband going through filing his VA benefits over and over and fighting desperately to get support and get the proper care that he deserves. Watching my brother go through struggle after struggle after struggle to get the VA to acknowledge his PTSD and help him. And what bothers me more than anything else is one of the things that my husband says, and I'm sure my brother had some of it too, is where it said, "Well, you never got treated for it when you were in the Marine Corps." And I'm like, you know, these are hired goons, in my opinion. So I do want them to I want Doge 100% to revamp the VA. These hired goons are told to tell you no, first of all. It reminds me of the movie with Aaron Brockovich. And their job is to deny and until you get so exhausted that you quit trying. But I also want to remind people that so many of our veterans, myself included, my husband, my brother, and many others at the same time as us and before us, is you never complained. You never said shit when you were hurt. You never said shit when you were injured. You never said shit when you were sick. You were driven into the ground and told to suck it up, buttercup. Suck it up and drive on. Suck it up and move on. Don't worry about it. You just need to do your job. So we weren't allowed. And if you went to med or you had anything wrong, boy, oh boy, did they come after you like gangbusters. And, you know, I have a major injury from when I was in the military, and I haven't yet gone to do anything, but watching what my husband has gone through and what my brother has gone through for a decade to fight for their benefits and fight for their rights, it just angers me and frustrates me. I'm almost in tears, but I'm in anger tears. And it just is so disgusting. And then you have our veterans on the streets and they can't, you know, some are already to a point where they can't be saved anymore, but we didn't try to save them before they got there. You know, but then when you got these illegal aliens that come in, and we'll just give them a 5-star hotel and a gift card with all sorts of money on it. No problem. Let's not worry about them. They don't mean shit. They only, you know, defend our sovereignty.
So to set the record straight, I'm not here as an intellectual or a psychologist or a politician or even a respected member of society, all things considered. I'm a high school dropout who lives in a log cabin in the woods in Virginia. I myself am just a 32-year-old nobody. So I'm just here today as the messenger. I believe that many of the problems identified at this conference are quite possibly symptoms.
Well, I think he's a pretty good messenger. I don't know about you.
Of a bigger problem. We currently exist in an age of rapid digital immersion. The current average American teenager will have spent something like 30,000 hours by the time they are 30 on social media. The average American spends 6 to 9 hours a day staring at devices. And whether it's a city sidewalk, a family dinner table, the receptionist at an office, even people driving their damn cars down the roadway,
Absolutely. How often do you drive down the road and you see these people on their phones the entire time? If we go into a restaurant and we see people on their phones. So we have a strict rule, no phones at the table. And that continues if we go out to dinner somewhere. No phones at the table. We are not allowed to have our phones. And I have a phone box in our house. We also have the rule if we're having a dinner party or we're having a get together, we have a rule that applies when our friends come to the house that you are not allowed to have your phone out. If you get your phone out, I mean, now if it's to pull your phone out and look something up that you're sharing with somebody, that's a different story. Or if you're looking up an answer to a question everybody had, that's a different story, although we have Google. Um, but we don't want you just sitting there on your phone. Put your phones away. And if I catch you on your phone, just by yourself, just on your phone, I will walk up and take your phone and go put it in the phone box. And I don't care. Socialize. You don't need to be, you could be on your phone at home. And I made that a big rule at Christmas time when everybody came. We're here to have family. We're not here to be on our phones.
I constantly see the struggle between maintaining conscious attention in the real world and the overwhelming pull we feel towards the digital one. And in my unprofessional opinion, neuroplasticity has made us increasingly digitally proficient, but at a cost of being digitally dependent. And if being hired on as a London cab driver can change your brain on an MRI scan, and if life experiences like PSD can alter the DNA in sperm, what irreversible alterations will 30,000 hours of staring into algorithmically fed state of hypnosis do to the human mind or to their offspring?
I hope people are thinking about that. And I hope that people with young children are either limiting or downright refusing to allow their kids to be on this stuff. I hope my children out there are paying attention. This is so important that your kids are not being raised on these devices and social media. Think about it from the aspect of when you were a kid. I'm 54, so if you're in my age group, I was born 1970. So if you're in my age group, I used to know my phone number, my house phone number, my dad's work phone number. 544-3154, I can still tell you that. Back then it was 916. It was changed to 530. At some point in time, they separated the area code. You can call it. There ain't nobody. I don't know who has that number now. But how many of us know our phone numbers? You know, like our regular contacts. I know if I go through my phone, I have a boatload of contacts in my phone. I don't know how many are accurate anymore, but I have tons and tons of phone numbers in my phone. And how many of us can remember our phone numbers? You know, I mean, I know my husband's phone number. He knows my phone number. I know my mom's phone number. But I doubt I could remember my brother's phone number without having to pull it up in my phone. And my son's, two of them, yeah, because their phone numbers haven't changed at all. But one, his phone number's changed. So how many of us have that information? There's a gal that just talked about that 70 car pileup. I can't remember where it was, but she was one of the people in that accident just recently. And she posted a thing on social media about what things she's learned. And one of the most important things she's learned is to have a leash for your dog, because if you get your dog out of the car, and they're going to run because they're terrified. So if you have your dog with you, make sure you always have a leash. Which we just went somewhere the other day to pick something up, and we didn't take leashes for our dogs, and we had to stop and let them out potty. Luckily, my husband had tie-down straps, and we used a tie-down strap as a leash for a very quick moment. But grabbed her glasses, her purse, and she couldn't find her phone. They were hit again as she was trying to get out, and several times. They were hit like 3 times, I think she said. She saw her husband's phone up on the dash, and she quickly grabbed his phone. Hers had gotten thrown. And so they had his phone, so they had a lifeline of some sort. But her phone and her laptop were totaled she said they were mangled. because her car got hit even more after she had quickly got out of the car. But she quickly grabbed these things so quick. But there are lifelines because we don't remember people's phone numbers. We don't have people's information anymore. And we need to make sure that we are paying attention. We are paying attention to what is going on around us, that we can actually see that we are addicted to this stuff ourselves. Even as adults, we are guilty of it as well. Anyway, let's continue. I tell you what, I like the social media. I mean, I do a YouTube channel, I do a Rumble channel. So I would like to say that we have a reason why we need to watch how much we are consuming and put it down sometimes and maybe play a game or watch a regular TV show or go for a walk or go outside and enjoy your porch or your deck or whatever.
Guys, if you don't mind smashing that thumbs up button for your boy, that really goes a long way to help me out. Also, if this is not your first time here and you're not yet subscribed, hopefully this could be the video that I earn your subscription.
I don't want to listen to you yapping. Sorry.
And in this short breath of time, we live in a state of existence that quite possibly no one else in world history has. We have both access to instant global connectivity, infinite information, and consumer-level access to artificial intelligence, but we're the last few humans in world history who remember what life was like before it. We are the last living people in history to have experienced life before the digital age. And I fear that it may become nearly impossible for younger generations to even differentiate the digital world from the real one before the end of my lifetime. There is nothing inherently wrong with technology, there is nothing wrong with instant connection, and there is nothing intrinsically bad about access to abundant information. But what is bad is the lack of control and agency we have over these systems, and without realizing it, we are being programmed, and our culture is becoming commodified. Therefore, the more time we spend on these digital information systems, the more we revert to the mean of one of a fixed set of broad internet cohorts. In other words, the more time we spend online, the more commoditized our culture, the more tribal our psychology, and the more vulnerable we become. When the floods first came to Western North Carolina last year, where I used to live, there were tens of thousands of people who showed up to help.
Okay, I'm trying to pause it. Sorry. Absolutely. We are being controlled by these devices and by the amount of consumerism that we have. I mean, can you watch anything without an ad popping up? I mean, I have my own business and I get hit all the time with start ads. And I'm like, I hate ads. I absolutely loathe ads. So I don't want to do an ad. But do I need to do an ad? Because if I do an ad, will I get more business? And it's a catch-22 for me because I hate them. I think it's disgusting. So it makes me concerned. But I want to get through this so that we can end our show without missing the rest of his speech.
Help from all over the country. No one asked them, no one paid them, and most of the world has no idea they were ever even there. I was there the same day that the governor of North Carolina came for his little photo op. He made a public announcement that day saying that the current statewide death toll with the floods, He made a public announcement that day with the current statewide death toll of the floods. But that same morning alone, volunteer veterans with cadaver dogs that I had met with had pulled 15 bodies out of a single pile of debris near the KOA campground in Swannanoa. The statewide count at that point had to have been well into the hundreds. I believe the number the governor used that day was 28. In fact, there was a reefer truck that sat for 2 days full of bodies because the morgues were overflowing. And
I have watched and listened to quite a few different people discussing that in North Carolina and how bad it really was. My husband went there with Team Rubicon. And if you're not familiar with Team Rubicon, you can watch This Old House with Team Rubicon on the Roku channel. They have one season. so far of Team Rubicon, and it is great. If you want to get involved or you want to volunteer, please do. Team Rubicon is a great organization for disaster relief. So, and we need more people that are willing to step up when disasters strike.
FEMA was hoarding donated generators and denying people on their applications. It was the nobodies of the world.
And it was also said that that didn't happen. Legacy media said this stuff was lies, and there are people after people who have come forward saying this really did happen.
World that were driving ATVs and Jeeps with chainsaws up mountain roads rescuing people. There was 2 guys we met that hot-wired a bulldozer from a quarry to cut a navigable path through a washed-out road in 2 days that the state said would take months.
There was also several that came with their own helicopters, and they were told that if they went up there and they did any more, that they would be arrested. One helicopter pilot even talked about how he was rescuing some people from this one location, and he had taken the wife and I think their family pet and maybe their child, I think it was, and he left his son there with the husband, and he brought her in, and when he was going to go back, and it broke my heart when I listened to this one, but he was told that he could not go back and get the man. So what he ended up having to do, because he was threatened with, now I would have just gone to jail, but I'm sure he was worried about losing his entire business and whatever, but he was ordered not to go back and get him. It was just devastating, in my opinion.
Allowing supplies to people who hadn't had contact with anyone in over a week. Volunteers were working 16 hours a day, taking supplies on everything from horses to helicopters. It was humanity there in front of my very eyes. And it was in that 7 days in North Carolina that changed everything for me. It was people saving people. Even with lack of leadership, failed protocols, and overwhelming inefficiency from the state, the nobodies took up the slack. And so I'm just here to remind you that we don't need our false idols. We should no longer rely on politicians who bow down to money to manage our city or our states. We need to find the real leaders everywhere and empower them. Western North Carolina was proof to me that there is an army of good people left in this world who want to do good things. We just have to give them places to gather and give them the ability to act.
I know there was someone I was listening to earlier today. That was the end of his speech, pretty much. He just says thank you at the end. But there was a YouTuber that put out that, you know, what we need to do is start our own Doge little groups in our own counties and our own cities that oversee what our counties are doing, what our cities are doing. We used to rely on the news, the media. I used to be one of them. I was a journalist. I would go to the county meetings. I would go to the meetings and I would put out the news. And I tell you what, the reason why I quit the media and quit being a reporter was because of I was pushed out because I was one of the very few that were conservative. And I was constantly battling my editors and people that wanted me to write things in a certain way. And I wouldn't comply. So I was constantly battling it. So I ended up quitting. And I shouldn't have quit. I should have stayed in it and just been the voice of somebody to say, no, we have to stand up for something or you will fall for anything. That is my show. Thank you guys. I hope you had a good time. And I hope to see you here tomorrow. Come in and I just give you a nice roundabout of what's happening and then talk about my own stuff in my own life as well. Because sometimes there's things going on like going to the ER and ending up leaving with without your gallbladder. And at least my heart's been fine ever since. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. I'm super happy about that. If you do want to know about what happened on my emergency room altercation this week, just go to my show from yesterday and you can see that show there. And again, like I said, I appreciate you being here. Please remember to like, follow, and subscribe. For some reason, people aren't able to leave comments right now on YouTube. I don't know what the reason is for that. But anyway, like, follow, subscribe, and please come and see me again. I really do need the followers, so please help me out. I appreciate everybody being here when you do come. And I always watch the news for you, so you don't necessarily have to.
Thank you for watching GurlTauX live broadcast, which airs weekdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to send in your Dear Margaret questions. Then join us for our opinion-based answers. We love having you. Thanks for taking the time to be with us tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share with your friends. We'll see
And they can't cancel
you
all of us.
tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.